Hi there, welcome back to another week of Counter-Strike game and skin market update. This is SkinomiCS2, and this video covers the 2nd to the 8th of June 2025. Let's start with our usual Armory Pass update. The bottom 3 collections of Overpass, Graphic, and Train have risen in price by a significant amount, as did most other items in the pass, although they are still below profitability. In particular, the CMYK from the Graphic collection drove up the collection ROI by 13.2% this week. Both cases in the past have not moved much in the week. Now we look at Austin Major capsules. All of these have increased dramatically this week, as hype surrounding the major is at an all-time high. The Legend Autograph capsule, which contains the Zywoo, ROPS, and Donk stickers, have reached a record high of 169% return on unboxing. This is expected to go down rapidly as volumes increase, and the 75% off sale begins in a couple weeks after the major. I do want to highlight the absurdity of current Austin sticker prices though. The most expensive sticker, which is the Zywoo Gold, constantly is trading for $900 to $1,000 US, which is much beyond the unboxing price at the current store price of 99 cents per capsule. I also want to highlight the volatility in prices for stickers following the progression of the tournament. In the most standout example, after Nicoodoz posted a rating of 3.08 against Complexity in the opening round of the major, his sticker in holographic quality multiplied in price by 10 times. Moving on, in previous majors, the knives which Simple have used all increased in price over time, most famous of which are the stilettos and the nomads. This time around, Simple opted for the already expensive Ruby Butterfly. Its price is increasing, but is probably not because of Simple alone. Also interesting is what Niko held in game. It appears that he has managed to borrow the legendary StatTrak Factory New case-hardened 661, of which only one exists and costs more than $1.5 million. Speaking of which, what the pros are using, data from CS2 Pro Skin has shown that in the month of May, these were the most popular skins used for each of the most popular weapons. Surprisingly, the 4 items without skins appear in the top 5 in all but 2 categories. MP9 is the standout here, whereby over 18% of pros use the weapon without even a 5-cent skin. The 2 categories whereby the default items are not within the top 5 is the knife and the AK, whereby the Butterfly Fade and the Fire Serpent are the most popular in the 2 categories respectively. Looking at the pick'ems, if anyone followed my picks last week, you would have made it through stage 1 with flying colours. The only upset from this stage was perhaps the exit of all North American teams, leaving only M80 in stage 2 and Liquid in stage 3. Considering this major is held in America, no doubt the local audiences must be disappointed. In stage 2 however, at the time of this video, it has been a complete disaster for most pick'ems including mine. Falcons managed to lose to LimVision. They were the single-handedly most pick 3-0 choice, and LimVision was the most pick 0-3 choice. The silver coin is looking like where a lot of us will end up. In a light-hearted moment from the major, heroic player Youngster spoke ill of Simple in an interview, and Simple posted on Twitter calling the heroic team bots. Perhaps in his eyes, the heroic team are actually akin to bots, as FaZe just faced heroic in the major. Let's just say the scoreline was not pretty for heroic. What was perhaps even more savage was the CS2 official account this week. Exopass on Twitter asked CS2 how he can win 15 rounds for the weekly mission when there are only 13 rounds in a game, to which the CS2 official account replied for him to play 6 or 7 games instead of 2, as his profile suggests that he is a bad player. Lastly, I want to make a note to my viewers that the US dollar has weakened slightly against some other currencies including the euro. As Steam pricing can be based on the US dollar for some studios including Valve, this does mean that both case openings and in-game items are now slightly cheaper than before for Europeans. Finally, let's move on to our weekly craft idea. I have a Brazilian flag for you this week by making use of 2 stickers from the recent Warhammer sticker capsules. Using a winter green AK as the base, and start by layering 2 Harling Queens at the bottom, then place a MLG Kilowatt 2016 Luminosity Gaming in the middle layer. Lastly, cover up the tournament logo by using 2000 sun stickers over the top. The entire craft should cost about $34 US including the weapon. Switching gears to the market, the SkinomiCS2 Index, which contains a list of items I used to represent the market, increased by another 1.38% this week. The increase this week, however, is unlike what we have seen in previous weeks, as we will come to see. The eSports Fire Index, which contains a list of 300 high-value liquid items, shows prices remaining mostly flat in the week, despite the trend line still remaining on the upside. Moving on to buff value of trade and trade volume data sourced from iTrade.gg. Volumes continue to remain very stable since the great crash in early May. With the total value and volume data sourced from SteamDT, we see the same picture. Both trade volume and value trends do not contain any outlier days. Now, let's break the skin market movements down into categories. Starting off with knives and gloves, this category is what I have meant by differing from previous weeks, as knives and gloves have mostly declined this week. Higher tiered weapon skins remain on a downward trend as well, with the exception of a few outliers including the M4 Emperor increasing by almost 12%. Agents were the main source of rise in the SkinomiCS2 Index this week. CT agents in particular have seen rises of over 10%, despite still being significantly cheaper than their T-side counterparts. Last but not least, we saw the affordable weapon segment decreasing overall, with even and marginal decreases across the board. Moving on, according to CS2 case tracker, case unboxing numbers saw a very slight decline again since last week, albeit still at an impressive 8.5 million for the week. The decline in unboxings can be explained by the popularity of the Austin Major stickers, as player numbers have slightly risen in the week as well. In non-active case prices, we saw declines in collections, of which many higher tiered items are held, although the weapon case and the Prisma collection saw rises. Active cases on the other hand rose overall, with the only exception being the Kilowatt case in several weeks of decline as it aligns itself with older cases in the active drop pool. Let's now take a glimpse at this week's biggest winners and losers. As mentioned in the headlines, Zywoo stickers have been trading at absurd prices this week, representing a significant gain from the same time last week. Rob stickers are behind in the same rise as well. In losers, it gets a bit more interesting as the old holo and G stickers which were pumped ahead of the major are now dropping back in price. The third place is the liquid holo from the current major. Perhaps as other North American teams have been knocked out, people are losing confidence in the region. On to the top trades of the week sourced from the skin trading site iTrade.gg. Another exciting week on buff, whereby a tier 1 pair of crimson kimonos in minimal wear fetched over $45,000. In second place, we have the first ever appearance of the Empress. The skin is in factory new stat track condition with a unique 4x Cato 14 holo craft. In third place, we have a stat track factory new Howl with a holo Cato 14 Titan. On CS Float, it was a bit more mundane. 2 Emerald Butterflies and a factory new Wild Lotus took the top 3 spots in another uneventful week on the platform. Moving to game news, there were no updates as expected given the ongoing Austin Major. Now onto the pro scene. IEM Cologne sent out its invitations for both Stage 1 and 2 of the tournament to be held in July. 8 teams will advance from Stage 1 to face off against Stage 2 teams. The eSports World Cup to be held in August also sent out its invitations. 16 teams will play in the tournament. I'm not sure why Tyloo didn't appear in their own graphics despite being invited. PGL Belgrade will now take place in PGL's Bucharest studios, as the hosts are facing logistical challenges. This is an unfortunate set of circumstances for the local audiences in Belgrade. The end-of-year Star Ladder Budapest Major will hold its qualifiers in October, as the hosts have confirmed this week. In other news, Monty made 2 roster changes, swapping out Hadji and Lean for Bimus and Dijoko. Soar parted ways with 3 of their players following a period of poor performance which saw them not qualifying for the major. Red Canids add Cause and Ponta to allow Kozero to take up the all-ping role. Finally, Eclot makes major roster overhaul by benching Mikey and releasing Mangus. I am still open to skin donations, and a reminder to join my Discord. Please like, share and subscribe. On that bombshell, that was all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.